What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another Press by Elle interview on This Only Happens in Ohio. I'm Elle, and this is DJ Collab.
Nice to meet you. Nice to be on. Thanks for having
Yeah.
me. I appreciate it. I've been following this Hope This Only Happens in Ohio for a while now. I know the man behind it, so I'm trying to, give him respect, do where it's due.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about you.
Okay.
Born and raised in Columbus?
Yes, west side of Columbus. I grew up in the South End, but I moved to the west side of Columbus when I was about 13 with my father. And then went to Franklin Heights High School. Played sports, the whole high
What
school
sports?
thing. Basketball, baseball, and football.
Wow, everything.
So I was year round because my dad was very big on sports. So if I didn't do good in school, I can't play sports. So that's just the biggest thing there. Whenever he holds that standard,
Right.
having an Italian dad, strong. Yeah.
Right.
He very hard on you. He's 6'5", big dude, so you kind of intimidated when you're looking up at him. So.
Right.
But graduated, joined the United States Navy after that. When I was 18 years old, I joined in August, 2 months after. And then, learned my manhood there. the rough life, man. Going straight into the military, learning the aspects, no college or anything. But I'm blessed I joined.
That's good. Was it a rough experience, I guess? Do you think it was for you?
I think it taught me a lot going in versus going into a college. It made me mature very young, at a young age, going at 18 and getting, discipline versus going to a university and partying or, focusing on the education. I'm more focused on the long-term things. So that's why I decided to go into, the Navy instead of college. So whenever I decided to be in the Navy, I was stationed out in San Diego, California. That's my first experience in California, coming down LAX, seeing the palm trees. I was like, I can get used to it here, So I stationed out there for a couple years, made my way back to Columbus about 3.5 years later. But at that time, I traveled all over the world. In that 3 years, I've been to Hong Kong, I've been to Dubai, I've been to Thailand, China,
Wow.
Tokyo, I've been to Okinawa, Japan. I've been all over the place.
What was your favorite place?
Probably Hong Kong because I had a pet monkey for the day.
That's awesome.
For like $5 American, so
Really?
you couldn't really beat it. So if you're ever going to Hong Kong, make sure you get that pet monkey. I don't know who I got it from. They just asked.
They
for
be
it,
on the
so.
corner somewhere.
Hey, they just be. I'm telling you, man. I live in LA now. They be on the corner at ID. They be trying to hustle any way,
Right.
shape, or form. So it did not surprise me. Whenever I was 19 years old and I experienced that surprised me very well. I was like, I need that because I'm, everybody knows me. I'm a character, so I just take it out on everything. If I walk around with a pet monkey, I'm the guy. I'll do it.
So tell me a little bit about what you're doing out in LA right now.
So out in LA, I moved out about 8 months ago from Columbus to LA. Made the transition, sold my car, just dropped everything because when I visited in February,
Last year?
last year.
Okay.
I visited for about 5 days, and I just really enjoy the atmosphere. Everybody's on their own hustle. Don't matter if it's a rapper, artist, if they're into, some type of art or something along those lines. Everybody's out there trying to hustle because you either got the lower or the higher. I don't believe in the middle class in LA. The average house out there is close to $1 million. So if you're going to go out there, you better go out there strong and with a plan. Because if you go out there and you just try to mingle your way into stuff, you'll probably fall on your face and end up back,
Right.
So me, I wanted to potentially, plan it out properly. So I got my stuff. I planned out there. I came back to Ohio. I was like, that place is for me. So I worked at Spectrum at the time. And then I went over to Everdry Waterproof and I did sales there. And I was like, man, this just, I don't like a 9 to 5. I don't like waking up, everybody's else making money. I'm making the minimum, If I sell a $20,000 waterproofing job, I get $300.
Right.
It's like all that work for nothing. So I decided to move out to Los Angeles because I wanted to depend on myself. I wanted, self-employment. I wanted to become my own boss. So whenever I decided to become my own boss, that's whenever I became mentally stronger, because being your own boss is hard. Brian, shout out Brian,
Shout out Brian.
the guy who runs everything behind music. He has one of the strongest mental, toughnesses, I could probably say. So when I came out there, I was there by myself.
This is pre-pandemic, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, well, this is during pandemic. This is through
Okay.
everything. Because whenever I went from February, I moved out and I moved to LA 3 months later.
Got you.
So this is all during the pandemic.
Right.
Because February I was in the pandemic, but I didn't have a lot. I didn't even have. I had a paper ID when I went to LA on my vacation, so I didn't even get into half the places I wanted to because they didn't really take it.
Anyway.
This is a piece of paper. So whenever I came back to LA, I was like, okay, this is where I need to settle down, get established, get a place. So that's whenever I really started to work to get to move into Tarzana. I moved to Tarzana, which is the northern part of LA. It's past the valley. So basically, I moved there. Very hot. It's one of the most hottest places in LA, probably. And I moved in there with 16 people.
Wow.
It's a big house. It's a house of artists. It's
Okay.
basically, you got studio engineers, you got other artists, you got people that are basically by themselves, but going after their dreams.
Yeah.
You know?
Is that typical for artists moving out to LA?
Yeah, there is a lot of associated houses that are like that have a lot of different backgrounds and styles for art, for music. Any type of genre you can probably think of that is independent or you can become your own boss, they got it out there. I know 4 houses specifically that do, like, one of them's for gaming, like for all streamers, another one's for all music, so it's very broad, So whenever I saw that, I was like, oh, well, they're just like me, but they're just going after the same different dreams, or
Right.
the same dream but different goal.
Right.
So that's whenever I woke up and I said, yeah, I can really wake up and do this. So my day-to-day action, living out in LA, I wanted to live the experience. So I got up, I'll take the bus everywhere. It was free, so I was just traveling LA on a bus.
The bus is free.
Oh yeah. You can take the
Wow.
bus.
Okay.
Currently free right now in LA. So I don't know if you want to take the bus, but you can Uber too. But
You
yeah,
can maneuver,
yeah, you
okay?
can maneuver. There's ways. You just can't stay in the house. In LA, it's just you wake up, the sun, and I just wanted to get up and get out. We're not from here. You see here, you get all 4 seasons in one day in Ohio.
Right.
That's
why I be sick all the time.
So I mean, you allergic to a lot of stuff?
No, just pollen.
Oh, there you go, right there. That's number 1 in Ohio. My girlfriend's wondering what's going on with all this cotton in the air. I'm like, yeah, that's people
pollen.
allergic to.
Yeah.
So
The devil.
So, well, it's different in LA because the air, because there's so many people. I mean, you go to the top of one of the, mountain where the Hollywood sign is, you can see the smog where everything is just because there's so much pollution.
Yeah.
So, like, some of the pictures you guys see on the internet, it's true. Like, it's bad over there.
Wow.
But the biggest thing is probably focus, because you can really lose your focus out there, financially, emotionally, because there's a lot of people out there that are homeless. When you go out there and you see the type of lifestyle some of these people live day by day on a tent under a bridge, making whatever they got to make to get by, really opens your eyes, sees a different perspective,
Yeah.
And I feel like I can relate because in Columbus, the west side, there's a lot of affected areas, such as the south side, and just all over Columbus. It's pretty sad. And that's why I wanted to make a change in order to go out to LA, to be that kid from the west side that, had everything against him, but he made it, because at the end of the day, I don't care where you're from, you can make it. It's just all up here. It's a
Right.
mental toughness. So if you can be able to go through some stuff and be able to overcome all that adversity, bro, you can achieve anything in life, anything.
Yeah.
And I want to be a living testament of that.
Right. What was your biggest obstacle getting to where you are now?
Man, that's a good question. My biggest obstacle was probably my pride. It's a lot of things that my family would probably agree with on, because I'm very prideful in my situations. So no matter if I'm the below, I won't tell nobody. I'm
Right.
very to myself, which I feel like a lot of people can relate because they don't want to feel judged or, get different types of opinion. And it can really affect you. Because I was, jobless at one point. I didn't have a car out here. Like, I was riding the Coda bus every single day. But I was prideful. I never tell everybody. I still have a smile on my face, live day by day. But, yeah, I went through some hardships to where I reached rock bottom, riding that Coda bus, honestly, really woke my eyes, you know?
Yeah.
Seeing those type of different people throughout life, no matter if it's the person that's going downtown because he has court, or if it's the, you know, lawyer that may be catching something. Or I've met a lot of people and heard a lot of stories, especially from the homeless people. And like, a lot of people know this about me, but I've went to a lot of homeless people, talked and learned their story.
Yeah.
Because I'm really concerned about the homelessness community and all over the world, because there's people that have a story behind that, you know. It's either drugs, you know, depression, you know, physical or mental standpoint. And I want to make a stand to where we can be able to, they're all human.
Right.
You know, I feel like some people in this world have so many obstacles, even humans face them as an obstacle.
Yeah. And I think, too, a lot of people fail to realize that the homeless people on Skid Row, for example, are a lot of them are like artists or actors that have gone out there to pursue a dream, and like you said, have taken their focus off. Or
they lost focus in life because they've been so driven on their passion. You know, sometimes you got to pump the brakes a little bit and be willing to balance it and take some losses, you know, because they'd be so driven. Because if you ever out in LA, go to Venice Beach, or, you know, go to Santa Monica Pier, or you go to those areas, there'll be people singing and rapping and dancing all day long throughout that boardwalk, because they have nothing else to lose, so they're just going to go after everything they want. Right. And they want to just put that pan out there and hopefully people pay it, you know?
Right.
So that's like the type of image I want to be able to create out here, you know, that type of hard work and that drive to wake up and not knowing if you're going to sleep, but you're still going to go out there and sing. And that's the type of work ethic I feel like what it takes.
Yeah.
But in LA, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And that's a true statement.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly think that, because there's so much talent in Columbus, so much talent. You know, ever since I left, I've seen a lot of artists DM me and, you know, reach out to me. Hey, you know, how's it in LA? How's the experience? But I've also had people I've worked with for years that never really made it, you know, but they think they're the hot shit. I'm sorry, numbers talk and press talks. If people ain't talking about you or listening to you, you're not really relevant.
Right.
And I'm sorry, I'm Italian. I'm as real as it gets. I say what's on my mind because it's hard. Because when you're trying to become independent as an artist or any type of drive, you know, there's going to become obstacles. There's going to be obstacles every day. But people either tend to use that to advantage or use that as an excuse.
Right.
You know? So when it comes to that, I wanted to use it as an advantage. I wanted to be Captain Adversity. Everything you come my way, I'm going to have a smile and I'm going to keep on going, you know? Because I hate when people have, I don't want to use hate because hate's a strong word, but I dislike when people try to use their experiences in their life as a way of pity, you know? Because everybody goes through problems, man.
Right.
You know, everybody got problems in their life that they don't want, or something that they don't have that they want so bad that they're willing to change for. Sometimes you got to just pump the brakes and reanalyze life. Yeah. You know, because pumping the brakes just a tad can change your whole direction.
Yeah, because you step back and now you can see the bigger picture.
You're more clear.
Right.
You know, you're more clear. You, instead of just going one direction, you're passing over a whole nother tunnel that you can be able to go through, and it may be easier for you. It may be harder, but the reward might be bigger.
Right.
You know, so the one thing I would probably say about anybody in Columbus or anybody in general when it comes to obstacles, man, if you can make it here and you wake up every day and you're struggling just like I did growing up, you can do it. It's just a matter of up here. Like, there's nothing you can do nor say, because at the end of the day, bro, it's all up here. It's all mental. I'm telling you, like, the West Side, I will take that till I die.
Yeah.
Because it just showed me a lot, showed me so much. It opened my eyes to a different perspective, to where when I visit all these other cities, I see a different reality versus what's in front of me. You know, I see the homeless man sitting there, you know, while everybody else is walking by him, not looking at him. You know, I see those little things because it really made me appreciate my life, seeing these little things out here and seeing the utmost biggest things in my career as it goes.
Yeah. What have been your greatest opportunities?
My greatest opportunities is probably meeting and networking with the right amount of people in LA. I've been blessed for my 8 months to really network and coordinate with some top names. I'm not gonna say anything on here, but I've been working towards a lot. And the biggest thing is, like I said, it's not what you know, it's who you know. So if you can be able to get those relationships strong, no matter where you standpoint. I mean, if you come here to come LA, just gain relationships because you honestly don't know who you're going to meet. I mean, that's my biggest goal is I came open-minded when I went to LA. I met everybody. I don't care who you are, what color, size, age. I don't care because at the end of the day, I'm new. I'm new to Los Angeles. And I feel like some people, not only in the music industry, but just in life are just hard-headed and they don't want that because based off of their experiences. But I feel like over time, if you continue to become open-minded, you might miss the opportunity of your life.
Right.
Because I don't want to be that guy that meets somebody and just shrugs them off, and then all of a sudden I see him on TV the next day. You know who you are.
That's huge.
Yes. So that's the type of thing that I want to be able to establish is, man, just be kind, be friendly, be open-minded, bring good energy. Because if you bring good's going to come right back to you. Not all the time. But that doesn't mean you can't change and just all of a sudden become a horrible person.
Right.
So when I come out to LA, everybody I met, you know, everybody, no matter if they're a known artist or if they're just a little promoter or just somebody random, just, hey, what's up? I'm from Ohio. What's your story? You know, so that's the thing I'm trying to be able to create. So I've established some great relationships with some recording artists. So I'm really excited for the future and what it holds.
Yeah. Well, it's exciting because we've been working together, obviously, from, like, a distance.
Yeah, for a long time.
I'm kind of in the Midwest, and you're on the West Coast.
Literally. Like, I'm Brian's right-hand man, and you're CG's.
And I'm Von's right-hand girl, so.
It literally runs hand in hand. But, it's great. I mean, with Von, obviously he needed a right-hand man. There's a lot to do, so they trust you. And Brian, he's all over the place. So he just needs somebody to say, hey, calm down.
You need
relax.
To sit down. Yeah.
Relax, man.
That was my thing for Brian,
he just goes. But that's my guy, man. When we make it to the top, he's definitely going to be hoisting that trophy. So
shout out Music Brands.
For sure. Shout out Music. If I was by myself in LA and Music picked me up and brought me right in, so I can't thank nothing but Brian right there for taking me in. But we up now. We up. We got some things, man. We still going. Listen, I'm telling you right now, I want to drop a sneak peek, but I want to tell a little story if we can about the little single. So I've been working and busting my tail with working with associated artist or DJ duo named Red Cup Nation. Shout out Matt and Perry. But we've been working together, and I've been following them since they started DJing in their van in Pennsylvania. But Red Cup Nation is an associated DJ duo that's been college DJs, but now sponsored by Diddy and worked with, Drake and Mark Wahlberg and a whole bunch of other people. Just, worked their way up. And I followed them from when they went from Pennsylvania all the way to LA. So I've had a little connection. So whenever I went out to LA, I asked them, and we started DMing, and we met up, and we started, kicking it, and they're really good friends. And we was like, you know what, let's get a song together. So we orchestrated a song. They had a beat made, and then I executively produced everything. So I brought one of our artists, Music Brands, QuanDot. Hey. Shout out to him, and shout out to Red Cup artist Girls Love Lonnie. Girls Love Vonnie, I'm sorry.
Girls Love Vonnie.
Listen, I've had Girls Love Vonnie. That's our artist name that's on the song. But I've also had Ladies Love Lonnie, and that's one of the top promoters here in Columbus. Shout out my guy. But I've had people like mix those two. I'm like, no, it's an LA artist. Girls Love Vonnie. Like, you guys will definitely listen. But he is definitely a top tier artist. He has a huge future behind it. So whenever we all was in the studio, we all collaborated. I was in awe because I was like, it's going to be my first single, my first song that I was very, like, behind of, because I've been a DJ for years, but I've learned a little bit of pieces of producing. I've been more of behind the tables, scratching, being the life of the party.
Right.
Now I'm getting more into getting in the concept of getting behind the music and, into the work, not just behind the tables. Because I feel like as a DJ, I got to treat myself as an artist in some type of way because I'm associated with so many people in the music industry. So I like to be versatile.
Right.
So me wanting to become this and have this as my first executive produced single with all these great people, it's going to become great, and I want to push this thing to 106.7, 107.5. I'm telling you, this is going to be a summer hit. It's different than Columbus. It's different than the Columbus music they typically hear. If you look up West Coast artists, it's a different type of vibe. It's a different type of beat. Like when you hear Tupac or those type of specific artists in the 90s, I want to be able to establish that, but in Columbus. So I want the established beat that I have with it, with the two artists, that the way they flow and transition to each other, it's going to be a hit. I'm telling you guys. It's going to be played very well.
What was the process like creating the song?
The process was fun. We had a little bit of confusion first and foremost because I didn't know who I really wanted to be on it. I was, as my first single, I'm like, I want Drake. I'm just kidding. I don't want Drake. It's just like, it's one of those things, like, you got to be precise on who you pick because who you pick is, depends at all. The following, a lot of stuff into it. But as an artist, and especially as an artist that don't really have a big following, my biggest thing would be just to learn about investing into yourself. So going to specific avenues that other people won't want to go to, because a lot of artists that I wanted to go through, like Dot, he had his album coming out, he had all these things that are up and coming. I feel like it was just another thing in his arsenal that he can be able to use.
Right.
Now with Vonnie, he's new to the music game, but he is a great following. Red Cup is really pulling their ties to be able to get him connected, which I understand that. Loyalty is very big, and loyalty comes reward. So they're really trying to get their, foundation established, and so am I as an executive producer and a DJ in LA. So I felt like it was right to just, come together and create a hit.
Right.
And be able to, now push it as a hit, because I'm telling you, it's a whole West Coast vibe. So I want to introduce that to Columbus because I feel like, not a lot of Columbus know a lot about the West Coast and their vibe, because not a lot of people go 3,000 miles west.
Right, and that's why I like having you on the show. So, because a lot of artists are always talking about, like, oh, bro, let's move to LA.
A lot of artists are all talk.
Yeah, so I'm glad that they now have that, like, in-person experience from you, at least.
Well, a lot of people, get butthurt when they say they're all talk, and that's what LA is. If you're all talk, it's gonna show. Because at the end of the day, are you going to wake up, or are you going to go after what you do, or are you just going to continue to sit on the couch and watch cartoons all day?
Right.
So those are the things and the definition. Don't get me wrong. I've had my lazy days. Everybody's had their lazy days. But at the end of the day, my goal hasn't changed, No matter everything, I've gotten my equipment stolen out there. I've been through some traumatizing stuff. I've lost like $8,000 out there. So I've been through it, but I've came back on top because I've worked through everything. When I got my stuff unfortunately stolen, it really broke down and hurt. And LA's, it's LA. A lot of my friends that live out there are just like, it happens, man. You live in LA. You're this far from here. You're that. There's just so many, different stories and different backgrounds in each city. It's definitely within LA.
Right.
Definitely within LA.
So another point that I wanted to bring up while I have you here is because yesterday we kind of talked a little bit, and you've mentioned it a few times, the word investment.
Yeah.
What I wanted to bring up is this, like, idea that people really hate, the pay-to-play type vibe, or they really hate paying, especially here in Columbus, other media personnel or videographers. They really have a hard time like dishing out the cash. Where do you stand with paying for everything, investing into yourself?
This is the way I see it. At first, if you feel like that as an artist, I completely understand, because investing into things with your own money, there may be a source of pride that comes with that. If I pay you this, when will it happen? How long will it be? What can you do for me? There's a lot of artists that are, what can you do for me? It should be the other way around. What can I do for you?
Right.
Because you got to think of it this way. If you have a full production team, and you're just a solo artist from any part of town in Columbus, don't matter what it is, and you're trying to make it, and you're thinking you're putting all this work in, you're one person. If you have a full production team and you're not willing to invest into 12 people, who's going to believe in you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the way I see it is, in LA, they won't even speak to you unless you got the funds.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, money talks. So if I say, hey, I'm going to get you a Big Mac meal, right? Or I can get you a Chick-fil-A meal. Which one you going to choose?
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A every single time, right? Yeah. So that's the way the artists have to see it. Like, if you think those prices are McDonald's prices, when you get to LA, you're not even want to go to, you're going to want to move back, because that's Chick-fil-A, man. Right. That's where every artist wants to be. I drive down Capitol Records every day. I see Atlantic Records. I see the places where they want to be. But, guys, money talks. I'm sorry, and it sucks, but if you can be able to convert those relationships into great friendships, then you can be able to get more rewarded in the back end off of what you do. That's like if you make T-shirts, right? And you put all this work into T-shirts, and then all of a sudden you ask your family or friends, hey, you want to buy a T-shirt, $40? Ah, man, can you do 20? See, that defeats the value, because you put all that work in there, and they're saying, oh, can you do it for 20 instead of 40? That defeats the purpose. So if you got to think of it a business perspective, longevity. If you're going to invest into something like this or whatever type of media outlet you want to do, what you pay is what you get. So if you pay $50, you're going to get $50 worth of quality. But if you pay $5,000, you're going to get $5,000 worth of quality. Like, that's what it takes to have these mics and these stands and these lights and this backdrop. Like, some people and some artists in general don't know the business perspective behind it. They don't know the numbers, They don't know the way to step back and say, wow, they really are paying for a lot, So, yeah, that does make sense that I have to pay for this because I get this and I get that, And to bring that up, I know the music packages that we have, So those are the type of things that I would create, that they're already created. Right. Those prevent value. Like those bring value to you, because not a lot of artists are doing that in Columbus. And two, the reward you get on the back end is better than you going out there and paying a videographer. Then you're going to pay a photographer. Then you're going to pay somebody to help you record. Then you're getting all these people that may be your friends or somebody that may know what they're doing but kind of not, versus an established building, a room, and you can make everybody work simultaneously as a business. So to answer your question, that's basically what it means. They don't know the business perspective of it because they never really sat down and learned it. They just learned how to write pen to paper.
Yeah. And I'm always telling people, like, if you're going to spend, let's say it takes you $1,000 to make a song, you need to match that with your marketing too. There's no point of putting so much investment into creating something and then having nobody to show it to.
Yeah, and that's the thing. My biggest thing is whenever I wanted to create this single, I wanted quality instead of quantity.
Right.
I feel like a lot of artists make all these, 40, 50. I got a vault. I got all of this. Bring it out. Let the world decide. I'm a big believer in law of averages. If you throw 50 songs out there, you're going to know if you got a little vibe or not. Because out of those 50, 8 to 10, you may get some feedback on. So I take that into consideration with everything I do. But I know if I invest into myself and I plan accordingly, my quality will beat my quantity every single time.
Right.
Just because of the money that I put in and the relationships I built over time. Okay. So that answers your question.
There you go. There's that. No, so while I have you, because by the time this airs, I know you'll be back in LA.
I will be back.
You have a few shows coming up, no?
Yes, I do. May 31st, I'll be in LA, so if you guys are out there, I'll be doing a mansion pool party. Slides, vendors, bouncy house. I mean, it's going to be absolutely massive. But it's going to be a movie, so if you're ever in LA, tap in with me. I'll get you guys right. But also the one I'm very excited, even more excited about, is Sada Baby, June 29th. I'll be DJing with Sada Baby at another mansion location in Bel Air. But that's going to be a very big one, just like this one. So I'm very excited for the summer. Like I said, and with the single coming out, and getting all that prepared, I'm very willing just to go explode for the summer.
Do we know what the single is called?
The single is called Difference.
Okay.
The single is called Difference, and what it establishes is just them showing you the different lifestyles,
Awesome.
With me, I'll show you the difference. So you guys are gonna be. It's definitely gonna be a summer hit.
It's different.
I'm definitely. Here. It's gonna be played.
No Poppy K.
Volleyball. No, not Poppy K. I miss my guy though. I'll be back in LA soon enough. But yeah, it's gonna be definitely a difference. And I have a clothing line that's gonna be dropping with it, so it's gonna be a full summer vibe. Can't wait.
I'm excited.
Oh man, I can't wait.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I'm over here shaking for it. But yeah, if you guys are ever out there, man, tap in with me. I'd love to show some love to Columbus.